What exactly makes an anime, and by extension manga, great or good or even decent? I used to get asked for anime recommendations by people who don't typically watch anime. And at the time, I just picked the mainstream anime that I figured most everyone would like. Shows like Death Note, for example. But later on, when I would ask those same people if they'd watch my recommendations, I'd hear things like, there are too many episodes, or I have kids to take care of and I just don't have enough time. Now, I personally binge anime the way I binge bags of chips, and although I don't have kids to take care of, 37 episodes of Death Note really didn't seem like much at all, but then again, what do I really know? But what exactly makes an anime great? I could probably TLDR this whole video by just saying that it's ultimately subjective, but I'm wondering if there are some objective criteria that we could all agree on. Well, it's probably a no to that as well, but I think there are a few worth talking about. Is it the length of the series in terms of how many episodes there are? Probably not. Arguably one of the greatest animes of all time, One Piece, is over 1,000 episodes at this point. I think anyone could acknowledge that the longer a series is, the harder it is to get into because of the time investment. At the same time, there's nothing stopping someone from taking a break and revisiting it, but perhaps storing all that information and recalling it can become a bit of a mental strain, especially for the longer stories. So let's say for the sake of argument that while longer does not necessarily mean worse, it can be a barrier to entry in some cases. But let's say you've gotten over that hurdle and found a nice compact anime that's about 12 episodes long, or what is generally considered a standard season length for most anime. What comes next? Well, I can tell you from personal experience, it's always how quickly the show can engage me. Now, as with most things, you could again argue that what is considered engaging can be subjective. But there are known tropes, not just within anime, but storytelling in general, that can be considered engaging to viewers regardless of the genre, whether it's some kind of twist or something else. Let's take a look at one of the most popular shonen and shoujo anime, for example. In the first episode of Demon Slayer, we come to learn about Tanjiro, a boy who is living in relative peace with his siblings and mother, only to come home one day to find them massacred by an unknown entity, and for his only remaining blood sibling Nezuko, infected by the same entity. I don't think I have to explain the intrigue here, but from the beginning the hook is powerful. Who massacred Tanjiro's family? How will he make his sister a human again, and navigate this world where demons are universally hated? In most cases, you as the viewer will instantly want to know more and watch the next episode. What about on the shoujo side? Let's take Akatsuki no Yona for example, otherwise known as Yona of the Dawn. The series starts out simple enough with the introduction of Yona, who is the sole princess of Kolka, and her crush Suwon, the son of the king's brother. But within the first episode, we find that Suwon has murdered the king for reasons entirely unknown to us. I don't know about you, but I find that to be pretty engaging. Of course, once you're engaged into the story, there has to be something more to sink your teeth into. Whether it's characters that show opportunity for character development, or the type of world building that introduces mysteries in all kinds of places that wants you grabbing for more. Let's look at a couple of examples. The plot of One Piece is plenty interesting on its own. Luffy's journey to become the king of pirates and reach the One Piece is filled with plenty of action-packed, dramatic, and emotional moments. But there is so much mystery within the world of One Piece that Luffy's journey is not the only interesting aspect to think about. What is the origin of devil fruits? What happened during the Void Century? What exactly are the ancient weapons that we don't know about? And well, the list goes on. Now, although these are many parts of this storyline that are still unresolved, I think it says a lot about a story as a whole when the world building can successfully go just beyond the main character's story. Maybe a little bit random, but I've been recently reading Sakamoto Days and really enjoying it. While the story itself is great, probably the most interesting part of this series to me is the character Takamura. Takamura, who is arguably one of the strongest, might not seem strange in a story where there are many strong characters, except for the fact that he is entirely shrouded in mystery, someone that even the villain of the story acknowledges is problematic to his plans. It's not always the main character story that can be the most interesting part of any series, which I think is also something else that makes a series really good. Ultimately, these are just some things that I can think of off the top of my head, but I'm curious what other people think. Let me know, and thanks for watching.